oh my. It's that time again, isn't it, Nick?
Oh, it is, Jordan.
We're back with another week of Valley of Spirits updates.
Woo!
Well, I mean, with the Valley of Spirits podcast. Whatever, it's staying in. We're messy.
We're going for it.
We're at Opportunity Point N in the Ringing Deeps today with our great innkeeper, Grizz Fingelbur.
It's a very different take from Bob the Barkeep.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of goblin vacationers, and
It's a very goblin hotspot.
And they're dancing on the tables. They're having a great old time. So I figured we might as well stop in here and do a podcast.
Can we dance on the tables?
Yeah. I mean, see this lizard shake some tail, wink. But
oh, girl.
So what do we have in store for him this week, Nick? What do we got?
This week we're talking about Dungeon Loot Changes, a community-led event that's been around for a while, the Dungeon Devour Affixes, and how to deal with it for a majority of classes. An interesting take from Blizzard on giving us the best in slot during Timewalking, and much more. Don't forget to tune in or stay tuned for the Tavern Talk if you're listening on podcast platforms, where we're going to ask about if Warcraft should keep add-ons, the Zekvir changes, and is the vault too easy? I have a special tidbit I haven't even talked to Jordan about. So, Jordan, why don't you help us kick off this week and tell us what you did this last week?
I actually did mostly PvP this last week. I got a full honor set on my mage now.
Yeah.
So I am doing some arenas, some rated arenas.
Nice.
And then I also got the Evoker about halfway PvP geared as well.
Okay. I know you really wanted to push the Evoker last time we were talking to on PvP, if I'm right.
Just in general.
PvP
The Evoker feels really cool to fight for my friends and save my friends.
Yeah, being the healer. It's always fun.
Well, it's not always fun, but...
No, it's stressful as shit.
It's been good, and we've been needing a healer a lot lately, so it's been working out for sure.
Yeah, we have. You're a great healer already. You've tuned into it a lot, so thank you.
Yeah, it works for me. I don't know. It feels good. So
hey,
I like Prez.
If it itches the itch in the brain, and you got it. Like, you do really, really well with it.
Mm-hmm. Big numbies.
Yeah.
I did do some delves. I did a couple on the mage, and I did a couple on the Evoker just to burn through some coffers keys and get, some vault opened up, which we're actually going to talk a little bit more about the vault here coming up, some Zekvir changes, which is interesting. The only dungeon I did that week was actually that Mythic 3 we did, if you remember, which we got through but didn't time it.
Yeah, dude, I'll be honest, it's been hard for Mythics.
It's been a struggle.
Me, I don't know about you.
I had a pretty good start to it. Like, I got to 500 Mythic rating. Like, I swear I blinked and I was 500, but now
Yeah, first week I had the same thing. Second week it's just shit the bed.
I do think with a little bit better uptime, I'd looked at the logs a little bit. I think I probably could have done a little bit better and we might have timed that. It's also, because it was mists, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. We did. Yeah, mists of horrible aside or whatever.
And I think if we had a healer do the maze and me deal damage, maybe we would have made the time because I had to just shut right off essentially during the maze.
Well, you take one DPS out of the entire fight, it really reduces the amount of damage, which means that the uptime is It just took a lot out of the fight, to be honest, and that's a very bad thing in my opinion. And I don't know if you have the same opinion, Jordan.
If the healer does the maze properly, it's cool. But I'm the healer now, so it's okay. I'll just do it.
No, but that's my point. Is like you cannot expect a DPS to deal with those types of a DPS should be able to deal with mechanics and deal damage. That's their job in the dungeon. But when it comes to stuff like, and granted, not all the dungeons are like this, but Mists has that maze. I think it's very much a healer problem. The tank has to obviously be active, and the DPS need to be active with the tank.
And in general, having a maze mechanic in a timed dungeon isn't really super fun. I don't think that's fun.
That's why I don't like that dungeon.
Yeah.
That's why I hate it.
I did. I've also been slaving away this week, cleaning up that Sylvanas episode we have coming out soon.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of text about, like, I've gotten this far. I've got another 30 minutes down.
Yeah, it's going to be we're still kind of working on how we're going to break it up, or if we are, what we're going to do with that. But it is very exciting, and Dark Lady Cosplay did a fantastic job with it. Every time I go back and listen into it, I'm excited about releasing it.
More.
Yeah, we do. We need to keep in touch for sure. We need to hit her up and see.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a good, even going through editing it, we covered so much of the Sylvana story that I think is really interesting.
and I know we talked about it in an earlier episode. We had like 4 hours of recording, and I think you said you cut it down to like 2.5. So there's like an hour and a half of just the three of us BSing on lore and Warcraft in general.
Yeah, and you have to make choices because it was our first time really hanging out. Right.
Oh yeah.
And so we bridged off a little bit and got to know, talk about other stuff. But I'm keeping it more condensed, more focused.
It was great.
But yeah, it was a great time. Hopefully we can have her out more. So Nick, what did you get up to this week?
Well, so I did do some delves on the rep pally, not too many, just to try to like pick up some gear with the keys. But my main focus this week was really getting my prop pally up to 80, which has happened, thank God. So now comes the gearing phase. That's what I've been pushing the last couple days as well. Trying to go as hard as I can. We'll see how it goes. But what I'm happy about is now we have the ability to, as long as I know the dungeon or raid, we have a paladin I can swap to go do tanking if need be.
Right.
So it's nice to have. So like how you said you're swapping a healer, but you also have the mage for DPS. I'm covering the other end as well. I think that's why it works well with you and I leading the guild. We're fixing holes where we need them.
Yeah, that's actually the guild's week. I actually wanted to talk about this briefly.
Yeah, no, let's go right into because that's my week. Like it was not much besides just getting up 10 levels real quick. No, you're good. Go ahead. What you got?
So, this week will be our final week off coming up on this Tuesday because going forward, I'm actually going to start pressing the gas a little bit more on the recruiting, and we're going to get some serious groups going. Yeah. And I want to do a normal and heroic night every week, and I'm pretty excited about getting that going.
Dude,
So if you guys are listening, definitely check us out. The Electric Boogaloo, Mal'Ganis.
Well, and I'll say this too, like, and I'm sure you're in agreement with this. You don't have to be in our guild to join our events. No. We have a Discord link. Every video description has one, whether you're on Spotify or YouTube. You want to join us for a normal, which I don't know what days Jordan want to do the normal.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, Tuesday is going to be normal. Wednesday's heroic.
Right, so you want to join us for a normal on Tuesday nights? Join our Discord. We'll have the events going out a week prior. We'll figure it out. You can feel free to join us. You don't have to be part of the guild. You want to clear some stuff? Let's clear some stuff. It's just a fun place to come hang out.
Absolutely. So yeah, shameless plug, Electric Boogaloo, Mal'Ganis.
The entire podcast is a shameless plug.
I guess that's true, honestly, for the guild.
I mean, come on, we ended every time with, like, don't forget to look us up, the Electric Boogaloo.
Right.
Anyway, Jordan, was that all we had for the guild's week?
Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to get a little bit of the plan out there going forward.
You're good. I was just wanting to get onto our articles. So, you wanted to talk about the dungeon loot changes that have recently happened. So, Jordan, why don't you start us into our articles segment, and what do you got for this? What's going on?
They did do a couple of hot fixes on October 10th. And I'm just going to go over the important parts of this. There's a couple of specific class bug changes, like with Warrior and Warlock, for example. They changed that runed crests are now being awarded up to Mythic 7+, and Gilded crests are now being awarded beginning at 8s. So they turned it down a tier again. Instead of it being at 9s, you start getting Gilded crests. Now you get them at 8s again, like you did last season.
So why do you think that happened? Is it too difficult with the affixes and like with the recent changes you've seen? Okay, is that where you're thinking it's coming from?
Yeah, I'm thinking the gear reward track was a little bit misaligned with the difficulty of the dungeon.
I'm also going like the tank and the heals and stuff because, we've talked about it, I don't know how many episodes now with it's been since like 12, right?
Right.
Like episode 12, I think it really was when they came out with those tank hot fixes. But the adjustment to the tanks and the healers and getting back to that holy trinity, and I've seen this in Mythics, and I'm wondering if you have, that push has also made it harder to do Mythics and even time them. So do you think that they're doing this because they're seeing that in the data that they're getting?
I do. I think ultimately they moved the gear forward just to make, because 7s and 8s are like no joke right now.
Right.
Like, I don't know how many 5s, you've done or anything like that, but once you get to like 6, it's like, wake up, brother. So I think it's good. I think it aligns a little bit more with the difficulty. I haven't done a whole lot this high, to be honest with you. So
okay.
I haven't felt this firsthand, but my impression of it is it's more in line with where it should be now with the difficulty, which is, it's interesting. I thought it was kind of weird that they switched it to 9s anyway, even with the second fortified or whatever, fortified or tyrannical being at 7.
Right.
So I always thought that was kind of weird. When the affix changes and you go into the next tier, you get more loot. Makes sense. The next thing they changed is they increased the duration of the buffs granted by Xal'atath's bargain affixes to 30 seconds. So when you successfully complete an affix and get the haste or the cooldown reduction, or you killed an Ed, or you stand in all the orbs or whatever, you get it for 30 seconds instead of 20 now, the buff that corresponds with it. Xal'atath's Guile now increases enemy health and damage by 10%, was 20. So they turned Guile way down. If you remember what Xal'atath's Guile was, that was the one that replaced the bargain affixes at 12 and higher. And I do think that this is a good move because a lot of people were hitting 12 and that's a brick wall. Like you can look on u.gg or Archon and 90% of the classes say key level 12 is the highest that, that build has ever gotten or whatever, right? So there definitely was a wall at Guile. I think it's better now because you get Tyrannical and Fortified and then you get that amped again with Guile. So I think that was out of control. I'm glad they reeled that back in. But I think that's all I wanted to talk about on this. Nick, you were going to bring us through the breast cancer awareness run that just completed recently.
Every year, the community, which is outstanding, honest to God. Sometimes we're in a field, though. Hopefully you got the dad joke. We do get to come together and promote some amazing things. It is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and originally the players themselves started this on the Scarlet Crusade US server, and it's been recognized by Blizzard. Sorry?
No, this is actually a really cool story.
Oh, yeah, no, you're good. But it's been recognized by Blizzard and the Great Gnomes Run, which is fantastic that this year they actually ended up on the same day. You players get to join, and you can do this even with a trial account if this is something you want to support. It's very easy to do. And if you don't want to play WoW or get a trial account, you can still donate. We'll have all the links in the description. But you start in Gnomeragon, and you get to run through the Ironforge trams all the way to Booty Bay, and they have a whole little after party in Orgrimmar. But events like this are why I love our community so much. They're fantastic. And Jordan, I think you found out how much we actually got to donate this year to the cause.
Yeah. The $2,700 was specifically just from the World of Warcraft Gnomeregan runs.
And that's $2,700 just from players just donating $5 or $10. Like, this community is amazing in what we do for our players. I'm sure there are many that have dealt with such things as breast cancer. I know I haven't, not me personally, but there are people in my life that have dealt with breast cancer. Thankfully, they all have survived. But it can be hard for some people. But we're gonna have all these links in our description for this event if you want to join it next year, or if you like. Donations I think are open year round, so feel free to do it at any time, whether you're listening to this on the day of release or within 5 months. Not to keep harping on it, but Jordan, I believe you have something for the Devour Affix and how players can deal with it.
Yes. So Xal'atath's Bargain Devour, you will get a Void Rift debuff on all 5 players that can be removed in one of 2 ways. 1 is applying a certain amount of healing to each player's Void Rift, or 2 is dispelling it. Once a Void Rift is removed, it grants party a stack of Lingering Void, which grants a bonus maximum health and bonus crit. With all 5 Void Rifts removed, the party can get a max of 10% increased health and 20% increased crit. So the idea is the healer will be able to deal with some of this, especially in lower key levels. It might almost be a non-affix because the healer will just be able to heal straight up through it. But there's a lot of ways you can help your healer out here. And I'm going to go over a list of them. Not everybody, but there's a lot of ways that you can remove Curse or Dispel it, for example. So Death Knights have the Anti-Magic Shield if you use it before the shield goes out. That's just important to come out. When you see Xal'atath, you want to use that Anti-Magic Shell and have it not apply the Lingering Void. If you're a Death Knight and you are a little bit more reactionary, you will have to spec into Unyielding Will, and then you can use Anti-Magic Shield after the shell is out. But you have to take the extra one that clears affixes or curses already on you. Demon Hunter, unfortunately, ain't got shit. Sorry. Druids. All Druid classes can spec into Remove Corruption. Yeah, I know. That's all right.
It's like you playing Warrior last season on some of the affixes. I don't got shit.
Well, Warriors don't have a whole lot for this either, but...
No, I know.
Just not that the Demon Hunters would have done it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Too busy looking at their damn damage chart. Sorry, Demon Hunter players out there. We love you. I'm sorry.
Oh, it gets bad sometimes.
All Druid classes can spec into Remove Corruption for this affix. Restoration Druid also has Nature's Cure as another way to dispel. Very important. You want to try and dispel it off yourself, obviously, to get the crit buff. If you're the healer, make sure you dispel yourself first. Remember. You can't heal people if you're dead. Evokers have both Cauterizing Flame and Expunge because they're the best. We recommend using Expunge first, obviously, because it's much, much quicker cooldown than Cauterizing Flame. And Cauterizing Flame curing diseases is very powerful, especially like tank busters and things like that. Hunters will need to spec into Emergency Salve. This also makes Feign Death an aspect of the turtle remove poison and disease effects when used, which will remove the Void Rift. Once the debuffs go out, simply use Feign Death or Aspect of the Turtle. Mages have Remove Curse, pretty straightforward. All monk classes have access to Diffuse Magic and Detox. Mistweaver monks can also take Revival to instantly remove all 5 debuffs at once, but this is at the cost of only being available every 3 minutes. So Revival is very powerful, but probably an OS button, so to speak. All paladins have access to Cleanse Toxins and Divine Shield, while Holy Paladins can also use Cleanse. We encourage more of the Cleanse Toxins simply because Divine Shield is on a 5-minute cooldown, and that could be used elsewhere in a pinch. Yeah, that's kind of like you see Xalatas show up and you bubble. It's like, yeah, that's a little much, maybe. Priests have Purify and Purify Disease. If playing Shadow, you have Purify Disease. The main one here we're after is Mass Dispel. Mass Dispel will instantly remove all debuffs and come back every 2 minutes, making this a popular choice for handling the affix. It's expensive, it's mana hungry, but if you let your Holy Priest drink or your Disciplined Priest drink, it'll be alright. Rogue's only way to handle this affix is by using Cloak of Shadows, and there may be some cases where Cloak of Shadows for other parts of the dungeon might be recommended instead of using it to handle this affix. Which is kind of interesting that you can stealth your way out of it. Kind of weird. Technically you can, though.
But maybe one class. The ability to deal with it.
Shamans are the holy grail when dealing with this affix. For starters, Restoration Shamans have the Purify Spirit, the more powerful choice that is available to all Shaman specs is Poison Cleansing Totem. Oh, PCT, baby. This is only being on a 45-second cooldown. Players will most likely have it for every affix window, and the totem will instantly cleanse all 5 debuffs. Easily the strongest way to deal with it. If you play PvP, you know about PCT, and Warlocks hate him. Poison Cleansing Totem. Warlock's only option here is Singe Magic, but it does require you to have an imp out, so it's kind of a damage loss. If you can avoid it, I wouldn't run it if you can help it. And Warriors only have Bitter Immunity, which is pretty silly because it's on a 3-minute cooldown, and you have to talent into it. So you put a lot of damage on the table, or off the table, and you have to only get a 3-minute cooldown. That's kind of not really a whole lot to deal with it. So that's the list of everything that can technically remove the Devour Affix. So definitely some spells to look at. I wanted to really go over those, just as that's cohesive. You know, it's having a list where everybody says every spell that can do it. It's a little boring, drawn out a little bit longer than we're used to having in our new segment style, but I wanted to go over them because that's relevant.
It's important to go over. I mean, like, that's what we're all about, is finding those tidbits. You know, last week you gave one on how to deal with a boss. Like, here's how to deal with an affix by class. You know, I think it's a lot better than us reading, you know, oh, this class got a 6% damage increase on this spell. So, Jordan, I think you also wanted, because you got back-to-back articles here, Skippy. The best in slot coming out of Timewalking. So why don't you take us through that and what these items are?
Well, so the ones that are raising a couple of eyebrows is the Wrathstone that you can get from Uldar. Timewalking, or Ulduar, excuse me, Timewalking, which is interesting because you can essentially go and get a tuned up trinket from Wrath, and it is potentially a best in slot for you. I actually thought it was pretty interesting too that originally when they first released the Timewalking raid last time, you couldn't socket like a headpiece that you got from the raid, for example, or anything like that, but now you can. So now these pieces are socketable and like actually super competitive. And so, Nick, how do you feel about being able to get really relevant, important raid gear from a Timewalking raid? How do you feel about that?
I think it's actually pretty good that we're able to get best in slots out of Timewalking, because I enjoy it. For the the transmogs and the mounts you can pick up on what's going, like which Timewalking we're doing. But I think adding a best in slot, even if it's, a more rare drop than normal, or it's only one specific piece, like I think these are both, like everything here is a trinket. I think it's actually really cool because it gets people to want to do it more. Now, I was running them this week because it gave me 40,000 more experience, damn near, when it came to completing a dungeon on the prop pally. So I was like, we're doing time walking all the time.
Yeah, it's a pretty elite way to level.
Right. Well, my math came down to, okay, this level takes how many time walkings? Oh, it's 3? Okay, cool. Let's go do 3.
Right.
I'll go relax.
No, yeah, just slash follow the tank because he one-shots everything.
But no, I think overall it's actually really cool. It gives us another avenue to get better gear. Instead of, if those best in slots are raid specific or mythic specific to like dungeon specific mythic, now you're not having to try for that all the time. Now you're able to go, well, let's go run time walking, and maybe it drops, maybe it doesn't. Oh, but then I also have another avenue. So I think it's a good overall way to help getting gearing done.
Yep. So I'm on the fence about it, but I'm definitely going to take the opposite side of the fence in the debate
you have to now.
So let's say my best in slot was this Wrathstone, and I ran the raid every day, looted it every day, didn't get it. Time walking event's over. I am not able to get my best in slot trinket now. It's impossible. I don't know if I like that. They aren't. There is other options. It's not like this is you have to have the Wrathstone. It's not. They're just close to being best in slot. I think that's kind of like there's a lot of people who build for their best in slot on their build, and you can only get it once every 4 weeks. And even if it's Wrath, like the Wrathstone isn't going to be in the next time walking. It's going to be Legion or whatever, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. That would kind of suck if you missed out on getting it during the small 1 week window you had to every couple of months, right? So I'm on the fence about it. I think where it's at's good because you want the gear to be valuable that you're getting from it. You want there to be an incentive to do it. That's not just go see the old raid or the old dungeons, right?
Well, to negate my opinion a little bit, time walking is very easy.
Yes.
When you hit 80...
It's not necessarily a good measure of skill.
No, it's not. You walk through it. You really do after you hit. What is the level required for it?
35. Well, it depends on which expansion, but I believe Wrath is 35.
It doesn't require a high level. Unlike getting into mythics and stuff where you are required to be 80 and then you have to have the skill to maybe obtain that, the track of champion, hero, whatever it is for that slot item, etc., etc. So it does remove the skill, but I think it gives the common player the ability to get better gear too. Kind of like Delved a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to do one time walking raid or do your 5 dungeons to get your cash, right? I think that's fine where that's at. I just think having one of the drops from the raid be a potential best in slot when you can only get it when it's turned up to 11 on time walking week, I don't know. It's really specific, and I don't, I don't want to hear of people holding out for time walking with bad trinkets because they're waiting for, the Wrathstone, for example.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and how often is that going to come around? Because how many expansions do we actually go back to now? Like, what is that rotation?
We do BC, Wrath, Legion, Battle for Azeroth, right? Because they don't do miss time walking. Oh, yeah, they do. They do miss. There's no raid, but they do miss time walking.
Yeah.
And then they do Kata time walking, and you can do... whatever that raid is.
Well, but, so here's the next question. Are they giving us the best in slot? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time this has happened?
To my belief, yes. Time walking gear has been kind of like a bridge, historically.
Same. So, if this is the first time this has happened, are they going to keep that going regardless of the time walking we're doing and just continue to offer us, whether it's trinkets, rings, whatever. Maybe
really impactful
piece of gear. Yeah. Maybe the piece of gear changes, but it's still a BIS or best in slot. So if that happens, people don't have to wait as long. Maybe they just have to wait for the rotation to be what they need. But yeah, no, I'm with you. Like it makes it a little
convoluted.
It does. It does a lot. But it also makes it easier sometimes because, hey, maybe the week is your week.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm on the fence. I like it. I like parts of it. I don't like other parts of it, but I don't think it's a big issue. I wanted to cover it a little bit, though. So I believe we're talking about the 20th anniversary celebration for the third week in a row, actually. We're pretty excited for this.
There is so much information that continues to come out about this, and I know we are both so excited. Like I am pumped.
I want old mounts. I want redone tier 2 transmogs.
Yes. I did see the beauty of it.
I did see there was a couple of memes that were like, you walk in the door for the 20th anniversary and you're like, sweet, I hope I get all this free stuff. And then it takes 3 weeks of grind. It's like, well, they give you from October 22nd until January 6th to do all of this.
You have such a long time to just And last episode, I did provide a Excel sheet breakdown of if you just played the game standard, here's what you can earn every week.
Right. Yeah, you can get a lot of these just inherently doing what you do every week.
That even took an average of 10 world quests completed and was like, here's what you like, your repeatables and your one times.
Well, there's lots to look forward to. There's going to be bronze celebration tokens that you're going to be able to get. You're going to be able to go to Blackrock Depths. You're going to be able to get the iconic Tier 2 set. You're going to be able to go through classic Timewalking they're releasing, which I'm very excited for that.
Oh, I'm so
Is they're redoing and adding things to the dungeons because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody knows that the vanilla dungeons were, vanilla. So they added some stuff to them to give them a little bit more pizzazz. I'm excited for it to be horribly undertuned or way too hard. I'm very excited. You get to earn a new mount that's essentially a reskin of a Blizzard Employee Service Award cosmetic, which is pretty cool. We're getting reskins of a lot of the Blizzard employee things. We get to join Chromie on a new time-bending adventure, so we'll see how that goes. Discover new secrets and solve guest relations, defeat party-crashing world bosses, go back to PvP revenge. So there's a couple of interesting things. They're waking up world bosses that are going to drop relevant loot. They're going to be able to do Alterac Valley stuff in PvP. And they're also bringing back some Warcraft 3 appearances in the trading post, which is really exciting. I don't want to make any expectations or say anything, but there are some really good things they could choose here. So
that's going to be fun. I didn't read about that.
Yeah, so some Warcraft 3 looks pretty exciting. As long as your character is level 10, you will be able to receive the quest Another Timely Invitation, and that invites you to the celebration in Tanarus, outside the Caverns of Time. You'll speak with what the fuck is that name? You'll speak with Yolana to return to...
You forget... Hold on. You got screwed up with on Yolana?
Yeah, Yolana. I know. I say such complicated names, and that one...
You say it so easy.
I know. Anyway, I'll be better. I'll be better for you guys, the listeners. Next time, I'll be better. I know we're going to go live soon. Oh, I got to shape up. That's
good. Hey, look, screw-ups happen. We're people. We can't be perfect.
Right. You'll speak with Yolanda to turn in your quest and pick up some one-time quests to learn more about the event. So they do give you a breadcrumb to get in, which is exciting. They also released an interesting thing to go with Halloween, which is chilling sounds of World of Warcraft to carve your pumpkins to. I thought that was kind of interesting. Cute little thing they did. So they're really sending, but we do have a bonus Halloween episode in the works as well. So
we do. I am very excited for it. I wrote the script and we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting. Nick put in some time, as he always does, to make sure that you get the most excellent content in the world. This is the best World of Warcraft podcast, after all.
You do the audio stuff, I do the visuals. We work out pretty damn well, I think.
Yeah, it's a good combo. Nick, you had a little bit to touch on the 20th anniversary before we move on, did you not?
Yes, I did, Jordan. So, during the 20th anniversary event, we are actually able to get some awesome mounts from world bosses that they're allowing to be around. There's going to be 3 to be exact. They're going to be located in Tanarus. And during the event, these bosses are going to be the Doomwalker, the Archon of Stonewatcher, and the Shah of Anchor. Now, each one of these is going to be a daily lockout per character, not per account, so you're able to do them multiple times on your account. And the mounts that these are going to drop are the Doomwalker is a guaranteed drop from the 17th anniversary event. Archivon of Stonewatcher will have a rare drop for the reigns of the Grand Black War Mammoth, which will have a different Alliance and Horde style. I believe it's just a blue lining and red lining. It's literally the same mount. But the Shah of Anger, if you didn't buy them during Mists of Pandaria Remix, you can get them again. The Reigns of the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent, which I think I actually bought during it, so I may not actually bother with the Shah of Anger. But I am going to bother the other two, especially the Grand Black War Mammoth, because I tried to buy that when it was current, and I could never afford it.
Yeah, that's rich people mount, kind of. So it's exciting that they're bringing it back.
It's your level mount. Don't
dox me like that.
I'm like, lower middle class in Warcraft.
Yeah. Some of us are richer than others in Warcraft, it seems.
Some of us have. Anyway, Jordan, that wraps it up for our articles. Can you tell us about what we have coming on in this coming week?
So, the events we have ending is, of course, we unfortunately have the end of Timewalking. So,
Womp womp.
but at the time of recording, those best in slot trinkets will no longer be available to be gotten.
And probably time of publication.
Or, whatever. When you hear this.
Tuesday. Tuesday at probably 3 o'clock.
Yeah, so the Timewalking event will be over by that time. And we will also be ending the Classic Ashran event. We have also the end of the Battle Pet bonus event will be ending. We have a Packed House PvP Brawl, which is essentially an arena with way too many people in it. It's an absolute madhouse. It can be fun. Don't play a clothy, but it's a lot of fun.
You being a PvP guy, have you enjoyed doing that one, or have you done that one?
It's goofy.
Okay.
It's 15 people, 15v15 in an arena map is kind of mad.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so definitely give it a shot. It's a madhouse. I wish they did a weekly quest for it, so more people would actually queue for the brawls, but
Yeah.
pretty exciting. I'm going to get in there.
I mean, hey, I might join you. Why not?
No, it's goofy. It's a lot
Let's
of
do
fun.
it.
You can only be with twos, though. We can't bring the whole crew, unfortunately.
No, you and I can rock it.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot, the last couple weeks, we haven't had a lot of, us time.
That's true. We need more us
you
time.
And me getting the
Miss you.
I miss you too. We haven't gone out on our long walks on the beach, held hands, busted out a picnic,
No, I know. I see you
thing.
busting in the door of these taverns 5 minutes before the tavern talk, and then you just leave. It's like, dude.
All blooded and stuff from the last mythic I did.
Right.
I'm here.
Right.
Got a beer.
Nick, you have a corpse hanging off of you. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. It happens. We do have the beginning of the War Within dungeon event, which is pretty exciting. I was trying to look up if in War Within they were going to increase the Mythic Plus key loot drop, but I was unable to source whether the War Within event affects keys or not. So I'm going to assume it's like Dragonflight, and it does not. So what the War Within dungeon event does is while this event is active, the final boss of each War Within dungeon awards an extra item when defeated. I'm going to go on the assumption, like last season, that this excludes keystones.
Probably.
So, because you don't actually loot the bosses individually on a keystone, you loot the key. So, pretty interesting. It is really good for zeros. Like, if you have bringing up new characters and things like that, it's really, really good too. Zeros are really valuable now, even in the time when you should probably be doing delves instead. But if you have keys, you should probably be doing delves, yeah. But it does help out heroic and mythic drops for sure.
Yes.
And so I think that is the end, isn't it? We've covered everything we want to. Nick?
It is, Jordan. It is the end of our news segment.
It's the end of the news segment. And so would you send us out?
I can, definitely, Jordan. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of the Valley of Spirits. We are your hosts, Jordan and Nick, your go-to Horde players. Join us in Dornigal on the Mal'Ganis server and look up our guild, the Electric Boogaloo, for some epic adventures. Stay connected with us on our social media. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or X as it is known these days, by searching the Valley of Spirits podcast. Do not miss an episode and follow us on our Spotify or anywhere you find your podcasts. Check out our YouTube for additional content not found on our podcast platforms. Until the next time, may your quest be glorious and your loot be plentiful. And as always,
For the Horde!